happening, Raven fans? Welcome to my premiere. Yes, indeed, my premiere, my Baltimore Ravens podcast entitled Ravens World. Needless to say, I will be dropping some of the hottest breaking news and, of course, giving you some insight like no other can. Unlike those boring Baltimore Ravens podcasters out there, I'm going to hit you with a little MIA flavor from down south. Yes, indeed. Who am I? Well, let's just say I'm the new jock on the Blizzard, one and only one, Raven Ruder. Yeah, listen, as I get ready to drop this new pod on y'all, I'm going to do it like this. As I mentioned, I'm going to do it like no other has done it before, and no other will be doing it again, unless, of course, it's me. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what went down in the off season for the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, okay, yeah, they turned out to really put the things out there that needed to be out there, and that's a good thing they did what they did. They stopped procrastinating with my boy, the leader of this ship, the pilot, the captain, the one and only, of course. You know who I'm talking about. You can't. There's no doubt in my mind you don't know who I'm talking about. But anyway, this ain't gonna be about him this time. It's a little bit about him. But what we're gonna talk about here today is basically what he has around him. Okay, we're gonna talk about what he has around him. And again, Lamar, he's special. He's special. People don't want to give him his credit for it right now, but he is special. Okay, but anyway, right now I'm gonna tell you a little about the receiving core, as I mentioned to you about some of the things that they put around him uh, to help carry him through this off season here, which is a great thing. It's a great thing, and which really we really looking forward to Lamar going out there setting things off. Action Jackson, as he's been called, and I would love to call him Action Jackson because this man is going to be the next best things to Madden. I mean, he's taking Madden to a whole nother level. Matter of fact, he's taking it to a level where he's putting it on the field. Okay, he is putting it on the field. Y'all thought Michael Vick was electric? Thought Randall Cunningham was electric? They got nothing going on. My man here is nuclear. Anyway, it's all about him. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be doing a show specifically about Lamar. The next episode, actually, it'll be the next episode where we're gonna do it specifically about Lamar. And so, but today, we're going to talk generally about some of the off-season acquisitions that the Ravens made to where this guy is going to go down in history. This team is going to go down in history. And if you don't think I'm telling the truth, just wait and see. For all you bandwagoners, I tell you, get your tickets early. Get on the board now. Don't wait. Don't wait because we don't want to hear from you later. All right. Anyway, but now we got a ton of off-season acquisitions, as I mentioned, and the Raven answered on draft day as well. Some of the things the Ravens answered on draft day as well. They did a damn good job. Shortly after the question surrounding the quarterback and wide receiver position, it became old news when Lamar Action Jackson agreed to become the highest paid player in NFL history. That's it. We're talking about history, his story. Lamar's getting ready to tell his story. He's not just going to tell it, he's going to show it. He's getting ready to tell his story because he had made history. And matter of fact, when all the naysayers were saying, "Oh man, he's crazy, he's stupid, he shouldn't be trying to negotiate this, that, him and his mom, what she know." Listen, the brother just proved to all you naysayers out there and haters, you don't know what the hell you was talking about. If the man was able to get the highest paid contract in NFL history, how could he have done better? Who could have done better? Saved himself $5, $6, $7 million, okay, and still came out on top. Anyway, he became the highest paid player in NFL history, actually surpassing the great Deshaun Watson. A lot of us thought about Deshaun and the money that Deshaun made, and the money, and the difference is Deshaun actually Actually, he got a long-term deal as well. But Deshaun money was guaranteed upfront money, guaranteed up front. Okay, on a long-term deal back in April when he signed it. Now Lamar overall on the long term, it's going to make more money than Deshaun, which is a great thing. But anyway, again, as I mentioned to you, we're going to talk a little bit more about what Lamar was actually helped out with when it comes to the Ravens. Okay, the Ravens actually stepped up and did what they needed to do, and obviously Lamar. And like I said, I'm not going to dive too deep into Lamar at this point because we definitely want to save some time to talk about the other players. But I got, like I said, I'm going to do a special for Lamar next episode. So y'all make sure y'all lock it in and tune in. Okay, make sure you're locking in and tune in. And the new podcast is going to be called Ravens World, and it's all about the Ravens, all about this Super Bowl champions that they're about to become. Okay, the powerhouse team, a team of history. Yeah, I'm a homer when it comes to these cats and stuff. So don't expect me to be not biased because it ain't happening. Okay, now a couple of weeks prior to uh, to the team actually had already signed free agent OBJ. Y'all know who he is, right? A couple of weeks prior, they already signed OBJ and to a 1 year deal. Now, what basically people were saying was, hey man, look, they hadn't signed Lamar yet, but they said, look, the Ravens are kind of setting the table as an enticement to kind of draw Jackson back to the flock. Well, can you blame them? They had a master plan going on as well. They knew all the while they was gonna get that man the most money that in history, but they was trying to squeeze him to see if they can get kind of get less of the value that he was actually worth. But I'm glad him and his mom held out. Okay, and when they signed OBJ, there was an indication that people thought that they was just using him to let Jackson know that okay, we're serious about trying to put somebody around you. Okay, and I'm sure Lamar Jackson saw this. Yeah, I'm sure he was watching that out of the corner of his eye. Okay, and not only that, they didn't just go after OBJ. The Ravens made it a point to do some things, do some damages in the free agent market, and try to get some more moving pieces around Lamar. Okay, and they were able to do so. They were able to do so with the addition of Nelson Aguilar in late March. Now the Ravens had a bona fide receiver core. Now and of course, not to mention a top talent arm to throw to him. Now a lot of people, dismissed his arm. He can't throw the ball. He's not accurate. He can't think fast enough to. Man, please come on now. Those are you know what kind of haters those were. We don't even have to tell you they were full of NFL history when it comes to a black quarterback. But we're not going to take it down the racial divide at this point. But let's take a look at some at who some what some say can turn out to be lethal, the most lethal core receivers in the league. Now, in one of the earlier press conferences, Lamar said he wouldn't be surprised collectively if these guys had over 6,000 yards per year or this year coming up. He wouldn't be surprised if he had 6,000 receiving yards this year. That means the bar going. If they got over 6,000 receiving, guess what? He's over 6,000 passing. Again, another NFL record. So anyway, a lot of people thought he was crazy. They thought he was crazy by saying that. But you know what? I didn't. I didn't think that at all. And with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about one of the receivers, and not necessarily in order of importance. But let's talk about some of that receiving core he got here. Okay, let's go here. First up, we got my man Devin Duvernay. Okay, Devin Duvernay. Now, Devin is standing about 5'11" at 200 pounds. He's coming in about 5'11", 200 pounds. He graduated out of Texas. And, of course, the Ravens took him in the third round. He was the 92nd pick in the third round. And Devin played decent last year. But, again, he wasn't what the Ravens needed to get Lamar over the hump, and they realized that. They realized that he's a good complementary piece, and so he's going to be going. He's going to be moving forward with the Ravens this year as a wide receiver, and they got some tough spots out there to become the top receivers on that team. Also, with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about the what I think probably the number two receiver is going to be, and a lot of people may disagree with me on this, but again, Rashad Bateman. Okay, we got Rashad Bateman there coming in at the number two spot, for, far as I'm concerned. Now, Rashad Bateman is a returning vet again. You know, he played with the Ravens he, last year. He was doing actually doing pretty good. He was doing pretty good. Rashad had some situations. He's got a little injured now, and they were kind of expecting Rashad to be one of the number one receivers actually for sure. That's before all the offseason transactions. Matter of fact, Action Jackson declared Bateman as the receiver number one for Shizu before he suffered a foot injury in the week 4 last season. Bateman actually looked like a potential number one receiver when he ranked third. He ranked third in the AFC North with 243 yards receiving. Uh, but the downside of that was oh boy, he looks like he had WD-40 in his hands because he had a lot of drops. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of drops, and that kind of put a damper on him. But towards the end of the season, um, he got hurt at that point. So, matter of fact, and into a very short career. He only been there for this is the second year. He had more drops than touchdowns catches in his career. Can you imagine that? More drops than touchdown catches? I don't know about that one, man. That's a tough one there. That's a tough one to swallow. But he did, and the Ravens knew that. The Ravens knew, and like I said, he got a little injured towards the end of the season and missed most of the games at the end. But they figured, okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to build on what we got. Okay. And they knew Bateman, a lot of people expect him to do well because he's familiar with Lamar. He's familiar with Lamar. And a lot of people definitely expect him to do well this year. And so do I. And especially with the addition of that receiving core that he has with him. Okay. Those guys he got there with him, uh, it's gonna be pretty interesting for Lamar and actually for some of these other receivers to really step up their game and go ahead and make themselves the stars that they meant to be. And Bateman is right there on that list. He's in tune and in line with getting to that point, and he's gonna be instrumental. He's gonna be instrumental with these guys, no doubt about it. Okay. And here we go with Bateman, and then of course one more shot here of Bateman in action, doing what he do, uh, doing what he do. And with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at number. I don't want to say the number three, but this guy here, that's gonna be he's gonna make a significant difference in this team. A lot of people are gonna sleep on him. A lot of people are gonna sleep on him, and I say he's gonna really do something big. Now the question is again, if Bateman stay healthy in his 2 year career, he's missed 16 or 34 games because of groin injury in 2021 and a foot injury last year. Now Bateman was out for all of minicamp in June because he received a cortisone shot in his foot. And hopefully this is not an indication what we're going to be getting from Bateman again. If it is, it's going to be issues for him, and it may slide him back a little bit on that slot because he got some guys that can really put out for them as far as wide receivers. And I'll tell you about the other core as we go along now, because he should be set to participate in training camp, so they say. Now the Ravens really what the Ravens are saying about Bateman, they saying he's gonna have a great season, and the bottom problem with that is in order to have a great season you got to be there, you got to be able to play. You know, availability, as they say, is the best ability. But should he slip, next man up, you know how they do. Next man up mentality. Y'all know this guy. Okay. Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar. He's the next man up. Now, the people expect him to give Duvernay some competition for that number 4 spot. But I really think that me personally, I think that Aguilar is going to actually wind up in that 3rd spot. This guy is just waiting to explode. He's athletic, he came in. He's coming in at 6 feet, almost 200 pounds. He graduated at USC, and he was a first round pick. It's one of those first round picks. So he wasn't a slouch. He was number 20 pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. And he had some good days with the Eagles. He most definitely did. He had some good days with the Eagles. Okay. As I mentioned, acrobatic, speed, tall. He got the tools. And so it's just a matter of him blending in with Amar. And if Bateman if Bateman don't come through, if he gets hurt, you can look for Aguilar to slide in that number 3 position. Now, as one of the most productive, he's actually one of the most productive players in off-season workouts. So he's already showing that, okay, I'm ready. I'm gonna be ready. Now the question is, can Aguilar reverse his downward slide? A first round disappointment. Aguilar could put together a career year. A career year. Keep that in mind in 2020. Now, when he had a career high 896 receiving yards with the Las Vegas Raiders, since then his catches kind of in receiving yards and touchdowns have decreased in each of the past 2 seasons. Now, Harbaugh seems to think he's only got nothing but upside left. He's repeatedly brought up Aguilar's name when talking about the wide receivers, referring to him as an underrated signing. You know what that means? That means they got a gem on their hand and nobody's expecting it. Nobody's expecting it. And so you better be on the lookout. Aguilar is coming to play. He's coming to play. And I really think he's gonna shine. Boy, I think the fans are gonna fall in love with him. If you're a fantasy football player, you better get on him. You better get on him and stuff. I mean, use him as a reserve, but you want to get him on your slot because that team, and with Action Jackson throwing that rock, man, they finna light this thing up like a 4th of July in the middle of the summer. So make sure you jump on that. Now, next in line here, as far as these receivers are concerned, you're talking about that draft pick that they picked up. Okay, they're talking about that draft pick. Zay Williams. I'm excuse me. Listen to me, Zay Williams. Zay Flowers. We're talking Zay Flowers on this one here. Zay is it's going to be something to deal with. He's going to be something to deal with. No doubt about it. This guy, he coming in kind of, he's short, 5'10", 170 something pounds. But the guy is lightning quick. He is lightning quick. There's no way linebackers or even some DBs are going to be able to stay with him, especially when he started running out and up. There's no way. So look for this guy. He could end up being Jackson's number one top target. He was drafted in number one pick, not a number one pick, but a first round pick, at the number 22 spot, which opened a lot of people's eyes once again. And this is on the eve that they signed Jackson. Now, they think he's going to be the top target on the outside if Beckham and Bateman still have issues with injuries. Keep in mind that they've been known to get banged up a little bit. But the thing is they got depth. The Ravens have depth at that spot. So Flowers, that's he may be the rookie of the year. I may go out on a limb and say he's going to be the rookie of the year. How's that? Be on the lookout for Flowers. Now, the biggest question about him is can he overcome a lack of size? At 5'9", he was the smallest player selected in the first round, along with the running back Jahmyr Gibbs, drafted by the Lions. Now, but the Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta downplayed the Flowers' size. They calling him a competitive, feisty player with a history of production over 5 years through college. And I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with him. For those that want to chime in on his height, we'll take a look at this picture here. Who a lot of people think he's gonna remind the league of this guy right here, number 10. We know what he number 10 been doing. We know what he did to the league and still doing to the league. So a lot of people want to compare Flowers to number 10, and that's Tyreek Hill. And you know what? It might sound crazy. It might sound like I'm just a real true homer, but I tell you what, I think he's just as fast, if not faster than Tyreek Hill. I think he's just as fast, and if not faster than Tyreek Hill. Quickness. I think he got Tyreek beat on quickness. Now he's a little smaller than Tariq. Tariq probably body built a little bit tougher and strength wise, probably a little stronger. But remember, this kid is young. All right, he's young young. Okay, what I say he is 22 years old. Damn, he just old enough to get in the bar, get in the club, and buy his own drinks. 22. Wow. Think how long he got around less than the league if he don't get injured. That's the key there for his size. But Flowers, Zay, a lot of people calling this cat the next. Actually, they call him the next Tyreek Hill. You know, they call him the next Tyreek Hill, and I won't be surprised if he set some things off the way Tyreek did and is. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for Zay. And Ken here too. Let me just show you a couple of more shots of Zay in action. There he is right there when he was at FSU. I mean, excuse me, not FSU, but Boston College, I think. Was it Boston College? Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and take another look here, see what else we got going on with Zay. And just a few more highlights. And go here. 1B. There he is racing down the sideline. The defender looked back, looking at him and like, damn, this dude just ran past me, and he got open, and he is running. Okay, he's running like he's running from the man with a bunch of police dogs behind him. But anyway, he's moving. That's Zay Flowers. Okay, and a couple other quick shots of Zay. Let's see. Mhm. And here with Zay again. Here we got with Zay again. And then, as I mentioned to you, uh, the Ravens are very, very, very high on this. And they talk about, when you watch his film, you see such an explosion on tape on a guy who can play inside and out. So he doesn't have to just run to the slot. He can get you out he can spread you out a little bit and run past you. He has, and they say he got great accelerations like a Ferrari. He can get up and get out of there. He's a playmaker with the ball in his hands as well. He got that yard after catch, the yak as they call it. He make big plays, and again, he can make plays being contested downfield. In other words, you can't just push him around and when the ball gets in the air, he can actually fight for that ball while it's in the air. So he's got the ability to do that. So that's that. This guy here is going to be something else for the Ravens, and y'all be on the lookout. Again, it's one of those guys you're going to have to put on your fantasy team if you don't. And listen, if it's up to me, I'm going to draft the whole offense. I don't care. I'm telling you, I'm taking the whole offense if I can get them. Anybody on the Ravens offense, Dick, I want them on my fantasy team. So if you don't, you got problems, boy. You're gonna have problems for those people that do have them on their team. So okay. So last but not like I said, we got Zay there coming in there. Very easily turn out to be the number 2 receiver on that team, but it's yet to be seen. It's yet to be seen. And then of course, what we got here is you know the ultimate signing, the ultimate signing for the Raiders. That a lot of everybody's expecting him, Odell, to show out. Everybody's really expecting him to show out, and it's hard to say right now. He's been working out. He was uh, the 12th round pick in 2014 with the Giants, and we know he made a name for himself with the Giants. Odell is the old head on the team right now, though. But he's 30 years old and he's coming off injuries, so we really haven't seen what he can do post injuries. Now he flashed a little bit in the Super Bowl with the Rams, but he got hurt, and so he hadn't played since that time. 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago. So right now, at 5'11", 196, the Ravens, this is what they're expecting out of him. They're expecting him to be the most accomplished receiver on the team, which by record and history of the game that he's played, he is. You look at the rest of the team, receivers around him. These guys are, they haven't quite had the experience that Beckham has. Even Aguilar, who's one of the more seasoned veterans, Beckham has all the motivation to be the number one receiver on this team. No doubt about it. Okay? No doubt about it. Now, he can earn up to 3 million if he produces over 60 receptions and 1,000 yards. Those are the little incentives that are thrown in there to keep him hungry. And if you get over 60 receptions, 1,000 yards receiving, and 9 touchdowns, or at least a team in those categories, that's a $3 million bonus. Okay, that's a $3 million bonus they're throwing at him. Now, the biggest question actually is going to be here. Well, one of the biggest questions will actually be, uh, what version of Beckman are the Ravens going to get? What version? You know what they say about ability. Best ability is availability. Will he be available? Now, when Beckman suits up in September, it'll mark his game, first game in 19 months. Can you imagine that? Brother hadn't played a football game in 19 months, so there's going to be some adjustment that needs to be made there as far as game time responses and reactions. You got to play this game in order to be in game shape. You can't do it on practice field. You can't do it in spring training. You can't do it in off season. You got to be able to do it during the season when it counts. Okay. And that's the last time he played on the current offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. But before he got injured his left knee in the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago, Beckman looked like he had regained his playmaker form with the Rams, as I mentioned, scoring 7 touchdowns in 12 games, including the playoffs. So he was putting out. But he's been out for 19 months now, and we haven't seen anything of him on the field since the Super Bowl. Let's see what he got in the tank. Let's see what he got left. Okay, and they expect him to always be kind of crafty, and he's always going to be able to find a way to separate from defenders. Says the OC, the offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. Now, but under Todd Monken, it's going to be interesting. But keep in mind, this is the guy right here. This is the guy right here that's going to be orchestrating all of that. Okay, he's the one that's going to be orchestrating everything. Mr. Jackson, Mr. Action Jackson, my MVP already for the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm jumping all straight to the Super Bowl, to the AFC Championship game. Well, you know what? I don't even go as far as to say the league MVP. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going out there. Lamar Jackson, the league MVP, coming up. So a matter of fact, he's gonna make a clean sweep. And you heard it right first, right here with the one and only the Raven Rooter, right here on this Raven World Premier podcast. Lamar Jackson will He will sweep the MVP ballots across the board. Okay? Y'all got it. Y'all heard it. Quote me later on in this season. And when he get that final, when he cap it off with that Super Bowl MVP, you're gonna say, damn, you know what? That damn Raven Rooter, boy, he knew what the hell he was talking about. God, doggone Skippy. Unlike all these sportscasters, that's a lot of them done lost their job, but we all know what they do. They just guessing, man. They're guessing like you and I guess. They don't know nothing. They guess and then they're wrong. They guess again and they're wrong. They get so they keep this stuff going by guessing wrong. But check it out. Put my stats up against him as the year progress. He gonna make an MVP sweep. Never ever been done in NFL history. You got it. That's the man. All right. And of course, as I mentioned to you earlier, who he's throwing that rock to. Um, we know OBJ. We got a lot of things pending for OBJ. A lot of things pending for OBJ. So he's gonna be huge, man. Listen, I am so excited about this team. It ain't even funny. All right, boy, look here. That offense is gonna run through teams like Xlex. Runs through if you take too much of it. Even if you don't take too much of it, like Xlex. For your old heads out there, you probably remember Castrol. He's gonna run. This team is gonna run through defenses like Castrol. For your young Jets, y'all don't know what castor oil is. Thank goodness you don't know because that was one of your grandmama's favorite medicine to give you. Well, you run from that stuff, but that stuff it's like oil. And boy, look at it. It goes in and comes out like oil. But anyway, we don't want to go all into that. Okay, but you got OBJ getting ready to do his thing as well. All right, and the Ravens really, as I mentioned, they got this man throwing that rock to him. They got this man gonna be throwing that rock to him down the field, and teams don't want to recognize, but they're gonna have to recognize this Lamar action Jackson. Man, he finna go over the top. He finna go over the top. If you ain't on the wagon, as I mentioned, you need to get your butt on the wagon. You need to get on the wagon before we cover it up, so you can't get on it. And all you haters out there, oh man, y'all gonna have a miserable year when he start bumping y'all top quarterbacks for y'all teams. I'm talking about them boys from Cincinnati. The boys from even the Dolphins with Tua. But anyway, I ain't gonna beat up on Tua too much and stuff. But he got some issues, and he's really gonna have some issues this year because I don't think he's gonna make it through the season. But I don't wish no bad luck on anybody and stuff, man. So, but Tua, if you happen to catch a hold of this, man, if the first hit you take and you ain't feeling right, retire. Get the hell out of football. You're done. Get out so you can be some good to your family and your kids. But anyway, Lamar, like I said, he's gonna set a new trend, a new stage, and a whole lot of records gonna fall to this brother right here from out of Pompano, homeboy, out of the Pompano. Yeah, and matter of fact, him and Zay actually are from the same uh, hometown. So they looking, we can expect them to hook up. You know how them South Florida boys do. Well, they don't be messing around. But anyway, so with that being said, Lamar, we know where he gonna be throwing that rock. There he go. There's that man with the one hand. Look here. Beckham probably caught more passes with one hand, and then a lot of receivers caught with both in their seasons. Okay. But that's why he rolling. Odell Beckham Jr. Y'all be on the lookout for him as well. Okay. And then, of course, we got this combination right here. Number 3 and number 4. Check them out. Number 3 and number 4. OBJ and Zay Flowers. They're about to rip this league apart. And of course, you got my boy Lamar throwing that rock like he ain't got nothing else to do. He throwing that rock like he was when he grew up in South Florida. That's what the boy do. And anyway, so with that being said, we got Odell Beckham. And of course, as I mentioned to you, the man behind the scenes that's going to be orchestrating all of this, that guy right there. Yeah, that guy right there. That guy right there. Be on the lookout. As I mentioned, That man, there's that man again. A lot of people gonna be seeing the back of his jersey as he, Lamar say he's not gonna run as much this year, but we're gonna see. Uh, don't sleep on him because if you think he's not, you're gonna be in for a big surprise when he running past you. Okay. So, but anyway, that's what we got going on right now with the receivers, and just to touch a little bit more on that. They talk about Odell being able to break away, and again under Todd Monken, the new coordinator, they expecting a lot out of this guy. Todd Monken is he actually expected to throw the ball more and spread teams out. Now, can you imagine him spreading these teams out? I tell you, Zay Flowers can spread them all out by himself. Now you got Odell, and like I said, don't sleep on Aguilar. Don't sleep on Aguilar. And then of course, if Bateman can stay healthy, man, look here. Lamar gonna find this so easy, but it's gonna be like low hanging fruit for him. And the biggest change though is gonna be the OC coordinator, Monken. Now, a lot of people know that Monken helped the Georgia Bulldogs win back-to-back national championships as their offensive coordinator. Now, his offense, check this out. His offense averaged 500 yards a game. Can you now think about that for a second? 500 yards a game. That's his offense averaged that while he was at Georgia. And of course, with all those yards, they had to score points. And what they did was score 40 points per game. Now you tell me if you could put up 40 points a game, you're not supposed to lose a game. You're not supposed to lose a game. And of course, Georgia did win back-to-back championships, so they did very well. And let's just imagine what Lamar's going to be able to do. It's getting scary, boy. It's going to get scary. 40 points a game in college. Now he got the best quarterback in the NFL, some of the best receivers as a core in the NFL. Man, this has been going to be a new era. Like I said, Lamar going to be the first one. I'm going on record. Y'all mark this down, record it, do whatever you got to do with it. He's going to be the first quarterback to sweep the MVP series. And I'm talking about MVP of the league, MVP of the AFC Championship game, MVP of the Super Bowl as they whack whoever it is across the head that's going to be in the Super Bowl. Now, keep that in mind. Now, the Ravens offense basically actually was no offense at that last year. They finished 19th in scoring last season at 20 points a game. Just imagine if they could put up 40. They'll go if they put up 40 points a game. Listen, the Miami Dolphins will look out for their undefeated season because if these cats can put up 40 points a game, their defense is more than adequate. If they put up 40 points a game, Miami Dolphins, Mercury Mars, Zonk, all y'all, Jim Kick, y'all stuff is over. Y'all won't be able to celebrate that no more. Okay. Now, according to Monken, this is his philosophy. It's you paid to move the football and score, and he's absolutely right. And that's a lot easier said, but it's a lot easier done with talented players. Now he talked a little bit about cookie tastes better with sugar. I don't know about that unless you got sugar cookies uh, than they do with vinegar. Now that I don't get. I don't get how he gonna compare cookies and vinegar. Man, please. That ain't flying. But again, the whole concept behind it, you surround yourself with sugar. And if you're surrounded with sugar, you're gonna have a bunch of ants coming with it. So be on the lookout for that as well. Now, with Lamar Jackson, the man himself, the myth, the legend, living legend at this point, with plenty of options that he has falling at his feet. We're about to find out if Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, and who again is going to be my surprise dark horse, will become Lamar's favorites targets. Now, the Ravens training camp is about to get started. Actually, in a week or so. In a week or so. If matter of fact, it may be started already, which means quarterback Action Jackson will soon figure out something very important about his fleet. And I call him a fleet. Okay. I call him a fleet. fleet of weapons, and these weapons, that is, they would appear to be running routes in stealth mode. That's right. These guys are going to be running these routes so tight they're going to look like they're in stealth mode. All the defenses had to worry about last year was tight end Mark Andrews, and they still couldn't stop him. They still couldn't stop him. Now, what are they going to do now? What are they gonna do now when you got these guys running down the field that that's just look, you can't even see them until they're running past you. Now, clearly Beckham, again, as I mentioned, is a big name on the campus and an early favorite to be that favorite receiver for Jackson. But Bateman has an advantage nobody else does. His one season of experience playing with Jackson already puts him at an advantage. But again, he's just got to stay healthy, man. If the boy can't stay healthy, he ain't gonna be doing no good sitting on the bench, uh, in civilian clothes. But him and Jackson displayed fireworks. Actually, they lit it up a little bit early in the season before, again, as I mentioned, the receivers started dropping balls when Bateman started dropping balls, and then eventually he got, he did get hurt. He had a season-ending injury with his foot, and he's still trying to nurse that back into place. Um, but they were one of pretty good rated duo. They were rated pretty high as far as the duo is concerned. And with with that being said, Lamar, I don't say it too many times already, but he's going to have a feast. He's going to have a feast, and people are going to be shocked at what he's going to do. Now, as I say, if Bateman can stay healthy and shake off some of his functional mistakes, some noise with all the other weapons around him. And then there's the rookie Flowers. We talked about Zay. Flowers brings an electrical excitement, and I mean I'm talking about straight electrical. Every time he touched the football, you know, very similar to the buzz that Lamar hit y'all with all last season. That electrical vibe. Michael Vick, when he had the ball in his hand, you know that you got a different feeling when those guys like that have the ball in their hands. Randall Cunningham, same thing. So what's going to happen here? They say Flowers is going to be like that. I can't even imagine him bringing that same buzz that Lamar brings with. Lamar hit you with a buzz and electricity that you ain't never felt or heard before or seen before. Again, there's a whole lot of chatter going around about who's going to be number one with the Ravens. But let me get in your ear for a second, Lamar. Let me get in your ear for a second, Lamar. Let me tell you this: whoever, whomever is the number one opening in the, let me say that whoever is the first one open, whoever's the first one open amongst those receivers is the first one to get the ball. That's your number one receiver at that time. They look good on paper, but the games are played on the field. The games are played on the grass. Now the haters don't think they can do it. They say Jackson has to find the guys he can trust, but Jackson, I say that's going to be easy part. That's going to be the easy part, actually. What you're going to trust is whoever is open. That's the bottom line. You're going to trust whoever is open. And believe me, somebody will be open. Let's not forget all he had last year again was Mark Andrews. And Mark Andrews is ripping people up. He's a tight end. He's half as fast as these guys that you can put on the field now. And he was more open. Mark Andrews was more open than a 7-Eleven last year. Okay? Imagine what it's going to be like when Lamar drop back. He's going to drop back, look up, and see three guys. Not one, not two, not three, not like LeBron, not four. But he's going to see three guys running down the field wide open. Running down the field like they running from the law. Okay? Talk about low-hanging fruit. Watch your heads, linebackers and DBs. Last check, The Ravens have, again, not one, not two, not three, not even four. They got 7 receivers on their roster right now. 7 receivers. So what did that tell you? Not to mention the receivers, but we talk a little bit about Mark Andrews. Their tight ends are considered to be pass catching receivers. Mark Andrews already showed he's unstoppable. And they got a kid on that team named his name Isaiah Likely. He's a tight end. He's a young buck. Be on the lookout for him. He's gonna make some noise. Okay, he will make some noise. Now, with that being said, we kind of we went through that the conclusion of what I think is the Ravens are gonna put out there next year. So y'all make sure y'all get ready to tune in to my world premiere is football. I hope you enjoyed the show. If so, make sure you subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up, click that notification bell. Click that notification bell, that way you'll know to be the first. You'll be the first to know that the Raven Rooter is back on the air. You want to drop some comments? Go ahead and drop some comments. You see my website there. You see my podcast. You see my YouTube studio. Log in. Go ahead and drop some comments. Tell a friend, tell them when, tell them then, and again, and of course, again. Tell them that the Raven Rooter has landed. Social media sites, be aware. This Raven virus will undoubtedly contaminate. Get the hell out of the way, Cowboy fans. Out of the way. Make sure you join me on my next show. As I mentioned to you, I'm going to do one exclusive to dive into the man